This is a talk about avatars and divine messengers. It was originally scheduled to be heard on, I don't know, 2 or 3 Sundays ago. And interruptions. Anyway, so this morning we're going to listen to this. It's quite unique to think about in today's very densified, concrete, material society to talk about avatars. Aside from the movie, avatars, and divine messengers. And yet, I think we're really blessed to have such knowledge available to us, to know that it is possible to live in a society like today's world and to realize that there are divine messengers among us and avatars that are looking over society and humanity and each of us. And so I hope this morning that you become inspired with what the teaching has to tell us. The Ageless Wisdom tells us that the word avatar is a Sanskrit word. So that means that the knowledge about avatars is not new to this generation, that it is part of life itself. It is a word that means a divine messenger. This is why I brought up the movie, because so many times I hear people talking about that movie and how magnificent it was, and it certainly was. But don't compare the movie to, this beautiful teaching about a divine messenger. A divine messenger is one that comes to humanity to give some light and some love and some beauty and some culture. Avatars are the revealing ones. Think about these words. Make a note, at least a mental note, because this is a description and definition of what and who avatars are. So they are the revealing ones. They are also known as the coming ones. Avatars are those great beings who bring revelations. So we know that many of us, many religions, many spiritual people are looking forward to the coming one. They've been waiting a long time. So maybe that divine messenger has come and gone, and we didn't recognize that great being. This is something to think about. Or maybe we're still just waiting. But avatar also means a messenger that cyclically appears. As for example, every 24 hours the sun comes over the horizon and from the mountains, behind the mountains, just in the same way that avatars bring light to us. It is cyclic. So for me anyway, this brings hope. When a country or a humanity falls into hopelessness or darkness, we have this understanding that it will not remain like this forever. We have an avatar that is going to come and bring light to us. So there's our joy, there's our wisdom, not to become buried, in our sorrows and in our darkness, in our question about where is our country going to be next week or land next week. Avatars appear to bring light to us, and it is cyclic. Also, an avatar means a messenger that is coming to do what? This is very important to think about. Coming to bridge some cleavages, bridge some differences, big differences. For example, let us say that a person does not know that God exists. Many people do not know about that, so that's a cleavage. A division between this and that needs to be bridged. The avatar comes and tells us that somebody exists. God exists. That there is a source of beauty. That there is a source of power. Not a human being, but let's say a celestial being or a celestial sphere of existence from which we would call is a source, or of which we would call is a source of beauty, the source of power, the source of supreme intelligence, a source that thinks about us for our future. There are so many meanings to the word avatar. So the avatar is a messenger, but this is a different kind of messenger. See, it's not the postman. Right? This messenger comes to bridge cleavages. And that is exactly what was written about Christ. There are some very important words in the New Testament that says he came to make the two one. So we need to ask ourselves, what is the two? That means that we have cleavages within ourselves. It means that we are not yet an integrated spiritual person. So if this is true, then we need to ask ourselves, what are we? Well, we are a body, we are our desires, and so forth. But it is our body, see, that is controlling us. It is our desires that control us. We are this or that depending on the events of the day. But where is our spiritual power? Think about this. Where is the Christ within you? Where is the Christ within you? Where is the Father in heaven in you? The Christ, the Father, is sleeping there within us. But people so oftentimes just don't care. They care more about the material, the mundane things, because they do not recognize that divinity inside, that spirit within. But there must be a balance. To be spiritual, so let's say to be spiritual means that you're a balanced person. It means that there is balance in your life. Not too much of this and not too much of that, but balance. It's so simple. This balance makes us one. The cleavages are the cause. The cleavages are the cause of the messengers coming to bring revelations, to remind us of our divine heritage. So many people think life is just about making money and drinking and doing crazy things that always leads them into problems and depressions and situations that cause hopelessness and so forth. So Christ, we are told, came to bridge that cleavage so that we can reach our divinity. So first we start by being a dignified human being. See, these are not mathematical formulas or formulas for physics or all the complicated elements of life. This is very simple, but not simply achieved. So first we start by being a dignified human being. So if Christ is within us, if the Father's home is within us, how can we be anything less than dignified beings? So that's the first step. The start is to become a dignified human being. So slowly we begin to recognize that we are not trash, no matter what we've been told we are. See, we are that dignified human being because we are a son or daughter of God. Isn't this beautiful? Well, it is to me anyway. These great avatars bring integration within our nature. And it can happen immediately. When you're in the presence of a great man or a great woman, you feel you are more together, or things come together more for you. Life makes more sense. You begin to feel a sense of purpose, a sense of dignity. When you are around someone like that, at least this is my experience. When I meet some people like that who are really spiritual advanced, the first thing I see is how weak I am, how many mistakes I've made, and what I did wrong in the past. They just reveal this in 1 second. It's so interesting, not by what they said, but by their light, by their love, by their presence. Then I saw how beautiful these people were and how something in me wanted to strive toward them, or to strive, let's say, toward that teaching that they shared, to be just like them. Now, this is what's so ironic, that I wrote this three weeks ago, and I'll share. This is the person I'm talking about is my son that just passed. I recall a time when my oldest son visited my teacher's ashram. The first thing he said was, "I do not feel worthy, Mom. Everyone here is so beautiful. I've never seen so many beautiful people like this in one place." I know. So when I was reviewing my notes last night and I came across this, I thought, oh my God, he's going to be part of the service this morning, and I didn't even plan it, It's another one of those gifts. And he began to change his life because his divinity awakened. Something happens to us when we are in the presence of a great man or a woman. We want to make ourselves good. How we are no longer going to smoke and to cheat and to do stupid things. So what happens? Some unification comes, some togetherness comes into our nature. And if we apply this in respect to humanity, then this avatar is going to come and bridge humanity with the future. This means to us, every avatar comes to reveal a great future. So I was thinking about this with Jeff's passing, that he's going to meet this avatar that's going to reveal his future, his next step to him in life, and it will be a more beautiful, integrated whole life. See, that's our joy. This is our hope. We want to meet one of these divine messengers, whether it is here, on the earth plane or in the higher worlds. One day we come to the realization that we cannot stay where we are. We must be expanding and raising our consciousness, purifying ourselves so that we are worthy of that great man or woman, or worthy of that great teaching, or worthy of that divinity that is within us. This is such a beautiful feeling. So that we can say that avatars are those divine beings that reveal the vision of the future within our consciousness. And once we see our future, then our future becomes a magnet that pulls us slowly up toward that vision. This is how we advance. So first we see the vision. Then we put ourselves in order. Then we strive and labor. Then we clean and break the chains and slowly, slowly say, now I am progressing. It is hard, but whether or not the vision is there and you cannot wait, that is the avatar. Another duty and responsibility of the avatar is to bring a great culture to humanity. So building bridges, bringing a great culture to humanity. And you can see this. It is very strange, but when we read the history of humanity, we will see that this is from the teaching, we had an Indian culture and civilization. How did it start? We're told that it started from Krishna and Buddha. Avatars. Divine messengers. You can go to Persia and see a great civilization. How did that happen? Through Zoroaster, another great divine messenger. We can go to the Far East and the Middle East, and we see the messenger Moses, what he started. There are also other civilizations. Then you see the Christ, and another civilization and culture. When avatars come, we begin to see a new culture. Why is that? Culture means values. Culture means values, so new values, a new culture. Avatars bring new values to humanity, new values, new ideas, new visions, new beauty, new goodness, new truth. And if we make contact with this avatar, we're going to know that it is a moment of crises and transformation within us. It is the most personal moment. For example, you say that a great avatar like Christ comes, but he cannot do anything for us if we do not change things within ourselves. So what are we going to do? Of course, we can worship and we can go to church and light some candles and sing. But we're told that this doesn't work, that we have to strive to be like that great one. We take his teachings and begin to really actualize those teachings. He said, for example, love each other as I loved you. Wow, do you know how hard that is? It's like I was talking to my former husband yesterday, and he was talking about our marriage vows, and he said, you know, it's like, he repeated his vows, and then he said, and there's no but except. You know, isn't that interesting? We always put, yeah, but except. Later on, you know, as the years go by, yeah, I took those vows, but except this or that. So it's like, I can love everybody except, and we want to delete the word except and try to learn how to love each other as these great ones have loved us. When we really listen, assimilate, eat, and digest the teaching, then these great ones give. See, the Christ, Buddha, Zoroaster, Moses. Well, they've already given. See, they've already given. But we can't take and assimilate until we're prepared. So if we don't assimilate, eat, and digest the teaching, then we become a hypocrite. A hypocrite is a person who listens to the teaching but does not live the teaching. You may have beautiful paintings on the wall, spent a lot of money buying books on the teaching, but it's like lighting that candle. and singing songs, if you're not living it and digesting it and being it, then we are a hypocrite. So an avatar comes and brings new ideas and new visions and new revelations. And he leaves it to us to strive and to work and to labor and to eat the teaching so that we change ourselves. We are going to change ourselves. That will come as a surprise to people who think they're already it. But this is a very great expectation of avatars. They want to pull us and God together from two into one. Are avatars all male? People think that masters are men, that avatars are men, and women are inferior. This has been an historical way to think up until the times we are in now. That thinking came from many, many distorted teachings. There are great women avatars, national avatars, international avatars. There are women masters, women avatars. The mother of Jesus was a great avatar. The mother of Jesus had cosmic consciousness. Christ is a great avatar, and she is a great avatar. And many times she has appeared. I was thinking about this one family that went to a very, very strong denominational church and said the only spiritual authority that can preside in the family is the man. That's so antiquated. It's so distorted. Avatars express the whole cycle of future human development. So what does this mean? It means that we see in the avatars our future, our image, the teachings. The stories about the avatar build a picture within us. And that picture is so beautiful that eventually it magnetically forces us to strive to become better and better and better. This is our future. Think about little kids, little children, our little babies. As parents, the first thing you notice is how our children begin to imitate us. Put us in that role as being spiritual children. Who are we imitating? See, it is an instinct for a human being to imitate. It's an instinct to imitate. What we want is to be able to purify and perfect ourselves from one life to the next, to the next, to the next, that we will recognize these great avatars that will inspire us to imitate what they represent. Right? And not imitate the wrongness of life or the stupidities of life. It will remind us as parents, okay, our little ones are going to imitate us. What are we giving to them that they're going to imitate? So the first thing is that the avatar brings the image of our future achievement. This is so important to grasp, that we see in the avatar our future beingness. It's like we see in the teaching our future beingness. We see in Blavatsky, we see in Alice Bailey, we see in Helena Rourke, especially us, we see in Helena Rourke our future beingness. her life example exemplifies our future beingness because we so highly respect her and her family. Or for example, you go hear a symphony. Somebody comes and plays a beautiful violin solo, and you find yourself studying the violin. Suddenly, in 1 second, you say, I wish I could be just like that violinist. And then you start imagining that you're on that stage and that you are playing that violin just like that person. And everybody is standing in applause when you finish. 1 minute of identification with that great violin player, and you go home and practice and you start it. And this is what we've done with the teaching. And the master and the avatars. But if the avatar comes and we are really tuned to the avatar, the one thing we are going to do is to ask ourselves, what is my future? What am I going to be? What is my future? What am I going to be? For example, a little seed one day sits and says, what am I going to be? If you tell the seed that it is going to be a big, beautiful rose, look how that seed is going to strive to have that dignity and that beauty. No matter how many rains and snows are coming, I'm going to be a rose. I'm going to be a rose. In the same way, we are a little seed, and our future is in the avatar. You're going to be like the avatar because this avatar is the image of our future. Psychologically, this image brings us energy. It integrates our system. It gives us health and mental sharpness because it puts us in tune with the principles and the laws of the universe. So I was thinking, when you lose a child, it's extremely difficult, which is an understatement. But when we recognize this is just one life for our child and that there's a future, a continuing future, it brings me energy. It's integrated in my system. It gives me health to know his next life, whether he's a he or a she, and I suspect he'll be a he, is going to be more magnificent, and I hope it is. And that gives me joy. So the images that avatars give us coordinate us like a maestro, like a conductor. We have seen before a concert how 50 or 150 musicians just sit there. And before the concert, they begin to tune their instruments. But when that's us perfecting, getting ready, making ourselves ready. And when that maestro comes, everybody is now tuned. They're coordinated. This is what the avatar does for our bodies and emotions and mind and thoughts and feelings. It makes us a symphony. The orchestration starts within us through the image of the avatar. What I had not planned to say, but I know you can relate to this, is that as we begin to increase our light and love, and we begin to make ourselves ready to, can I say the word imitate, or to become that image of the avatar, we become attacked. Because darkness wants us to remain in darkness. So people will come, events will come, situations will come into your life to try to distract you from this image of what you can be, of that Christ within, that divinity within you, to put you back, back into the involution of history. So this is why every single day we want to meditate, to study the teaching, to remind ourselves who we are. And the purpose of the teaching and the purpose of the avatars came to make the two into one. So, the orchestration of our body, emotions, mind, thoughts, and feeling starts within us through the image of the avatar. Orchestration means something that comes together within us. Something becomes orchestrated within us. We were not together. We hated ourselves. We were miserable. We didn't know where we were or what we are, but the image of the avatar begins to penetrate within us, and we say, now I know where I am going. That is the first thing an avatar does. The second thing is that an avatar does is that he heals, or she heals. When we say healing, we're not talking about physical healing alone. We're talking about emotional, mental, spiritual, social healing, healing in relationships, healing in our creativity, healing in our goals. Avatars heal us. The teaching heals us. The lives of these great ones heal us. We start reflecting the divine beauties in our creativity. So then we are healed in our emotions. So when we are sad and angry and hateful and jealous and depressed day and night, the avatar wipes them away. The avatar wipes them away. We don't need to be like that, he says. You are the seed. You're going to become the rose. So the avatars heal us. They heal people. They heal societies. And the way they do it is by creating what? Right human relations. Goodwill. So that people are good neighbors. They love each other. They respect each other. That is healing. The third thing avatars bring is illumination to our minds. Illumination shows us where we are, what we are, and where we are going. This is why so many people today, I can't not begin to tell you, people all over the world are praying for the soul of my son so that he progresses into enlightenment. Well, we don't have to die to wait to progress, into enlightenment, but we can do so right now. Because illumination is what avatars bring us. Illumination shows us where we are, what we are, and where we are going, how we are going, and the path. Just like a light. If you are in darkness and you do not have light, what happens? If you have light, what happens? The things that happen when we have light also happens when we have enlightenment. See, it's very simple. If we are enlightened, we are ourself. If we are not enlightened, we sit on the chair and we say, I'm the greatest professor. I am saved. I am liberated. I'm going to heaven. When we are enlightened, we will hear the person say, I have done so many miserable things. My goodness, who am I? Only the grace or the blessing of God can clean me. Do you see? Then you are yourself. If you are ignorant, you think you are something. If you are enlightened, you see that you need another 1,000,000 years to be somebody, to be something. if you are not, all this stuff is pouring in, and I don't have time to get into it, but let's think about the great ones. I was thinking about President Lincoln, Abe Lincoln. Back in the day, and then fast forward, who would Abe Lincoln be today? See, if we say when we're Abe Lincoln, this is it. I'm now enlightened. I'm the full finished rose. I don't have to go any further. See, he wouldn't have survived in today's political arena, right? So it's not to put us down. I don't want you to think that. It's not to say, I've done so many miserable things. My goodness, who am I? It's to recognize who we can be, see, as a divine spark in the future. In other words, if we are not enlightened, we think we've achieved our human destiny. When we are enlightened, we see that wherever we have reached, it is only a station on the path of our journey. And the journey is continuous. An enlightened person sees the valleys, the rivers, the mountains, the lakes. They see a vision. They see far away. The next avatar is going to reveal another power of God. That's a very profound statement from the teaching. The next avatar is going to reveal another power of God, the will energy. We don't know yet what it is because we don't know yet what love is. So, avatars are great, great beings. And one thing that makes us really advance is that we look to avatars and then we try to improve our lives. So let me close with this, because this is a teaching about what we can become. So let me leave you with one more definition of an avatar. An avatar is one who has no center in himself. God is his center. God is the center of the avatar. He has resigned from himself. He does not say, I live. He says, he that is within me lives. He does not say, I talk, but that is that which is in me, within me, talks. He doesn't exist anymore. He says, the Father healed you, or the faith has healed you. Isn't that beautiful? So this is an introductory talk on avatar, and later on avatars and divine messengers, and in the future we can maybe have another talk like this, but with a little different understanding.